I got this question and I put it in the description below so I could get right to the answer of having many childhood friends, then losing almost all of them. This person writes that they were the go to therapy friend. So, what I want to say about this is that when you're the go to therapy friend, you have a lot of expectation that's placed on you that they don't even hold to themselves. At least that's the speaking from my experience, what it's been like for me. So the way you describe it sounds like you went through something similar. You know, you were that person that was there for everyone, people go to for help, and then you needed help and they all disappeared. Now, there can be a few different reasons for this. When I was younger and I was always there for my friends' relationship problems or life problems, whatever. And I remember one of my first bad breakups, I went to these same friends. And not only did some of them disappear, some of them did. I could tell they wanted to help, but couldn't. They had nothing to say. And I realized that being this person that helps people with their problems, it's a skill and not everybody has that skill. And while the intention is there and the well the well meaningness is there, it doesn't mean they're going to be able to help you like you can help them. And I think it's easy for someone to feel resentful, like why can't be there be that person that does the things that I do, but such is life in that case. I would still say that if somebody backed off from you completely, that's still not the markings of a good friend. Even if they're holding you to a higher standard, even if they view you as somebody almost infallible and somebody that shouldn't have flaws in this area. Oh, this person helps me with my relationships and my life problems. They shouldn't have life problems or relationship problems. They have it all figured out. These are how these people think. And some of them get scared when a person like you has these sorts of problems because if you can't solve this problem you're coming to them about, then it must be greater than any problem they've ever faced, and they don't even want to know what that is. So it doesn't make it right, but maybe it can help you in understanding. And in understanding, I find it helps you move forward when you're stuck on something. It says you say that you feel badly that you're no longer friends with them and one you cut out of your life. And based on what you said, it sounded like you had a good reason to cut this person out. And I wouldn't fault you for it based on your description. But one thing that I would like you to consider is, do you feel badly that you're no longer friends with these people, or that you just don't have the type of friends that you want? Do you not have your ideal type of friend? Some people stay with certain types of friends or the friends they knew when they were little, and they just hang on, even if it's not the type of friends they want out of life. It's the only friends they have. And without that, really what you should do is try to find the types of people that you want to be friends with. And I think you need to be super specific about what your ideal type of friend looks like. Doesn't mean that like you should reject everyone that doesn't hold every single value or trait, but it'll point you in the right direction, and it may give you a good idea of where you should go to meet these types of people. Making good friends can be tough work, and it requires effort, and it's difficult. It is difficult, but if it's something that you want, it is something that you're going to have to work towards. Are you the problem? You know yourself better than anyone else, so I think I think if you really sit and meditate on that problem, you're going to have some pretty good perspective of it. But it sounds like to me the problem isn't you per se. The problem is that you just don't have the type of relationships you want, and you're sad and you sound lonely because of that. And as you should, you have every right to feel that way. But just because you want things that you don't have, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. When you mention the person that you fell in love with and didn't love you back is still friends with all of his childhood friends, and his girlfriend has so many friends, well, there's a couple things here. So one, there's this issue of comparison. When you compare yourself to other people, most of the time you're only going to, in situations like these, end up disappointed, feel like you're the loser. And we all go through our journeys differently, and as long as we are working towards our goals, we can't compare ourselves to other people. We should only use comparison as a way of motivate ourselves when we feel like we're doing nothing. And in this case, your comparison is paralyzing you and causing you to be more depressed. And I see that. I mean, I think there's more than one thing that you're hurt about here. You don't have friends, and it sounds like, you know, the person you fell in love with didn't love you back, but something that still very much wounds you, which is completely understandable. You close with, I feel like the message I'm getting in my life is that I'm undeserving, and maybe I'm meant to be friendless and alone, or maybe I didn't appreciate them enough. Maybe I'm not likable. Maybe I'm too sensitive. I understand where you're coming from. I understand why these things are running through your head. No, you don't deserve to be friendless and alone. However, this is the spot that you're in right now, and it doesn't have to be permanent, and it can change. And it's not necessarily something that can be fixed overnight, but back to what I said earlier about figuring out what type of friend you want, I think that's something you should do. Saying that you're not likable, well, again, you know yourself the best, and maybe a good exercise for that is to make a list of traits that you'd want in an ideal partner, like somebody you'd want in a girlfriend or boyfriend. And then once you're done making all those traits, and be brutally honest, look at those traits and see how many of those traits you happen to have yourself. Because if you aren't those things, then how can you hope to attract those things? And wouldn't you be more confident in you being a likable person if you liked yourself more? And you'd probably like yourself more if you had traits that you deemed are likable. I think these are really helpful things, in trying to reach relationships that we want. And what I've learned in life, and it took me longer than I wanted it to take in order to learn this lesson, is that we're not going to have friendships and relationships that we truly love unless we learn how to truly love ourselves. And learning to love yourself is work. It's not just something that you can turn on. And it requires you to work towards being somebody that has things that you love. So if you have any questions about that, or any revelations you've had in a few days, I saw you posted this a couple of days ago, leave something in the comments. I'll do my best to help you. Be good to yourself.